Without enough albumin, you won't have the ability to absorb iron. Then you are like half of America and eating an inadequate amount of magnesium daily. The biggest culprit is, hi friends, can't lose weight? Have you optimized this #1 metabolic organ? Let's rapid fire the top 10 ways optimizing this organ will improve your health in less than a minute. #1, it'll increase your basal metabolic rate. #2, it'll improve your insulin sensitivity. #3, it'll help you keep your weight off, which is harder to do than to lose weight. #4, it will improve your fat oxidation or fat burning. #5, it regulates your appetite. #6, it supports your bone health. #7, it protects you from dementia. #8, it will improve your mood. #9, this is #9, it improves your blood pressure. And #10, it will increase your health span. You have the power to strengthen this organ throughout your life. But if you do nothing per decade, you will lose 3 to 5% of this organ every year starting from your 30s. Now, can you guess what this organ is? If you guessed your muscles, you are correct. You have 3 types of muscles that make over 600 unique shapes, sizes, and functions that together are responsible for conscious and unconscious movements and actions throughout your body. Activating or slowing down the right ones in the right ways can unlock all the benefits that I just listed. Neglecting them will put you at higher risk of diabetes, fatty liver, cardiovascular diseases, cancers, depression, memory lapses, and many other illnesses. So I'm going to share with you my top 10 habits that I practice daily or weekly to activate and build this powerful metabolic organ to hit those 10 ways to improve my health span. It's not going to require you to be a bodybuilder or a marathon runner. And in fact, those activities don't necessarily equate with longevity or health span. #1 is timing. Timing is everything. For 2 minutes, move any large muscle group after you eat. This could be just walking to your desk, doing jumping jacks in place, doing leg lifts in your chair, or walking up a flight of stairs. It's been shown that if you move your muscles after you eat, you can reduce how high your blood sugars will spike for that entire meal, and not just within the 2 minutes that you are moving. Now, if you do this every time you eat, over time, this improves your insulin sensitivity, helps you maintain a healthy weight, reduces your appetite, reduces your blood pressure, increases your basal metabolic rate, and it increases brain chemicals like BDNF or brain-derived neurotrophic factor and other signals that make you feel better and stay mentally sharp. Every time you move your muscles, you increase the strength of your bone, which together reduces your risk of falls and fractures. This all accumulates into living healthier longer. Can you take 2 minutes for yourself after every meal or whenever you snack? You know, if you add that up pretty soon before you realize it, you will actually want to spend more time moving or walking because you will just simply feel better doing it. Now, after you have made #1 a habit, work on #2 and strategize how to make the most out of those 2 minutes to lower your blood sugar more effectively by moving several large muscle groups at the same time. Larger muscle groups can hold more blood sugar. They are simply bigger closets. Every time you move, you are waking up this metabolic organ that buffers all your other organs. And when you stop eating, your muscles are supposed to store that sugar in the form of glycogen to supply your brain with a constant supply of glucose. Even if you're on a ketogenic diet, certain cells in your body, like the ones in your eye and your red blood cell, they actually require glucose to live. And this is why anybody alive, no matter what diet they're on, even if they don't eat any carbohydrates, they will have measurable blood glucose when we test it. The more muscle groups that participate in movement, the higher your metabolic rate. It's like playing tug of rope. The team with the most players will simply be stronger. The more you move, the more your muscles will build memory, which means they will be better metabolic buffers even at rest. Now, the 3 largest muscle groups in your body are the gluteus maximus, the latissimus dorsi, and the quadriceps femoris. The gluteus maximus is really the largest muscle in the body, and it is located in the buttocks. It is responsible for the movement of your hip and thigh. And this is why any movement that moves your hip joint will wake up this muscle and make that muscle stronger to protect your hip. Latissimus dorsi is a large flat muscle that covers the width of the middle and lower back. It plays a key role in the movement of your shoulders. So swinging your arms when you walk, or even sitting at your desk and rotating your shoulders can wake this muscle up. Your quadriceps femoris is a muscle group located in the front of the thigh and includes 4 individual muscles: the rectus femoris, the vastus lateralis, the vastus medialis, and the vastus intermedius. It provides stability for walking, running, and squatting. Now, the single best activity anyone can do is to walk, as walking moves all of these muscle groups. Walking is really the best exercise you can do to increase your health span with the lowest risk of injury. So if you are out of shape and haven't worked out regularly, even if you think you are still young, you are more prone to injury when you do abrupt movements that you're not used to doing. This can be joining a boot camp or even playing pickleball. Both may appear fun and exciting, but if you end up injuring yourself, you may be unable to walk for months. My friend did just that, injuring herself at boot camp and required knee surgery after a few months of chronic pain. Now, needless to say, she gained weight during that time, and it wasn't muscle weight. It's not uncommon to suffer ligament and tendon injuries from abrupt motions, especially if you haven't played a sport since high school and you're several years from high school. Remember to go slow and avoid those quick, jerky motions until you've spent some time training yourself. Now, here are 10 exercises that move all these 3 muscle groups at one time. These exercises aren't for everyone, but these concepts are incorporated into activities like Tai Chi, which is a traditional Chinese martial art that combines slow, deliberate movements, meditation, and deep breathing. Tai Chi is practiced for both its self-defense training and its health benefits. It improves balance, flexibility, strength, and coordination. It is particularly beneficial for older adults to reduce the risk of falls and improve their overall physical function. Now, you can practice Tai Chi indoors or outdoors, in a group setting, or individually. Working in a group outdoors in nature is best to promote community and encouragement while avoiding contagious respiratory germs. The best part about Tai Chi is that it is suitable for people of all ages and fitness levels, and it can be adapted to accommodate physical limitations. So number 3, make moving fun. And that means you need to find at least one buddy or build a community to motivate you to move. Now, I've struggled with this my entire life. And when I was a kid, I would rather sit on the couch and watch my cartoons. My mom, she just thought I was lazy. Apparently, I'm not the only one because we are all hardwired to conserve energy. Now, some people may call it laziness, but in reality, it's survival of the fittest. Our ancestors easily walked 20 miles a day to gather and hunt for food. Roman gladiators, they were just simply expected to walk 20 miles a day. American Civil War soldiers, they easily walked 25 miles a day. We are all wired to conserve energy because we used to expend massive amounts of energy every day just surviving. But since the Industrial Revolution and the invention of the first car in 1885, machines have replaced what humans would have been doing. It's not just replacing our jobs. In this modern day, machines are replacing our human activity for health. And this is happening at an astronomical pace. If we're not more mindful, we truly don't need to lift any part of our body to eat. We can use Alexa or an app to order groceries or a takeout delivered straight to our door. Now, we should be purposeful to fight these instincts to conserve energy, and that takes a lot of work. I work in a hospital that has 8 floors, and between each floor, there's 2.5 flights of stairs. When I go from the ground floor to the 8th floor, that number is times 2.5 the amount of stairs that I need to walk. It's not so fun. And I can tell you honestly, I have to give myself a pep talk to do it. It's so much easier to press that button and ride in an elevator. Now, some of my colleagues, they prefer to do gravity rounds. That means they press that button, take the elevator to the highest floor, and then they walk down the stairs to each floor. I like to do anti-gravity rounds. I start from the bottom and I climb up the stairs to the top floor. Now, even though I've been walking the stairs for decades now, I guarantee you, I have to always give myself that pep talk, especially if I have to go more than 2 levels at one time. However, whenever I meet someone in the staircase and we chit-chat, those steps aren't so hard to climb. That's because it's just more fun. Now, number 4, start safely. It's not worth it to get an injury and then you can't even walk. And when you're beginning a new movement, consider getting yourself a physical therapist or trainer to help you have the right form, or you will be more prone to injury. Have you ever bent over and suffered a debilitating back spasm? 10 years ago, I decided to start Pilates, and I got on the floor and did this frog pose watching a YouTube video. After a minute, I could not get off the floor because my back went into a spasm. Painful. It was worse than childbirth because I had nothing to look forward to and I didn't know when that pain would go away. Eventually, I somehow got myself up. I hobbled like a turtle up the stairs. And then when I tried to brush my teeth, I couldn't bend my neck down because it triggered another back spasm. Now, it doesn't take much to severely injure your muscles when you're out of shape, you don't sleep well, and you're not eating well. 10 years ago, I had a horrible work-life balance. I basically worked and then came home to do more work caring for small children. Now, looking back, I really miss that stage of life with my kids, but I don't miss the busy work. When you exercise, you're actually injuring your muscles. Exercise induces small, tiny, microscopic tears that are actually beneficial to force your muscles to build back stronger and better. Muscles are like bread dough. The more you knead the dough, the tougher and stronger they get. Likewise, the more you move your muscles, the harder and stronger they will become. And when you leave the dough alone, they get soft and fluffy. And likewise, when you don't move your muscles, they too will feel soft and squishy. And when you leave it alone too long, then it will forget how to start. And that's how you get injuries. It's like your car. Have you ever left your car parked too long at home when you went on vacation? And when you finally came home, it wouldn't start. When you get sick, have you noticed you start losing weight quite rapidly? That weight isn't just because you didn't eat. You lost some muscle. You will lose 2% of your muscle mass for every day that you are bedbound. And this is why many people have difficulty eating standing up after being hospitalized for a few days. Injured limbs shrink quite rapidly. The good news is it is easy to recover as long as you're able to move and eat properly. It's always best to front load that effort and to get professional help to retrain your muscles properly. Number 5, get some good supportive shoes. Being prepared is always better even if you aren't doing anything special. Having the wrong gear can increase your risk of injury. My brother has a friend who slipped and fell this past winter, hit his head, and got a massive bleeding stroke from that injury. He's still struggling to recover. Wintertime is super dangerous, and when you live in icy, snow-prone areas, that's even more risky. I lived in Washington State one winter with my little kids. I've never lived in snow before, and I learned quite quickly you can't really push a stroller when there is snow on the ground, or even worse, when there is black ice. I quickly learned that my tennis shoes just wasn't going to be adequate for walking. About a decade ago, I ran a half marathon and I was too cheap to upgrade my shoe. Instead, I bought inserts thinking that was enough. But I went from 1 insert to 2 inserts, and then eventually I got a hole on the top of my shoe. That's because my big toe was pushing against it. That wasn't even the worst part. I started having radiating pain from my ankle to my knees to my hip to my back every time I ran. And this was all because I was wearing the wrong gear. I finally found a shoe brand that I like, and now that is the only shoe that I wear to work and when I exercise. Number 6, target exercises that build your core muscles to help with your balance. Here is a list of them. I rotate these exercises a few minutes twice a week. A few years ago, even though I was jogging almost daily, I fell on the street 3 times, tripping over step-offs on the sidewalk. Basically, the cement was uneven and the tip of my shoe got caught, and then I couldn't get my leg in front of me, and I could feel myself helplessly falling in slow motion. My husband suggested I was shuffling shuffling my gait and that I probably should stop jogging. Now, of course, I don't want to hear that, but I did realize that I was shuffling my gait because my core muscles were very weak. I just couldn't lift my foot high enough when I was tired. Now, I figured I better start training myself before I get a fracture in the future. And I hired myself an online fitness trainer and we practiced twice a week. Now, the few times that I have tripped, I was able to catch myself and avoid falling, except when I was hiking on a muddy hillside in the Oregon rain. I had stepped on the side of an elevated muddy trail to avoid a puddle, but the mud, it started slipping underneath me and was carrying my feet along with it. And before I knew it, I was literally falling face down. And so I stretched out my hands to do a plank. Had I not been working on my planks, my face would have kissed the mud. And because I've been working on my core muscles and doing planks, the only part of my body that got dirty were the palms of my hands and my shoes. Now, number 7 is to focus on nutrition. You probably know you need protein. The truth is, if you are eating enough to maintain your weight, you're eating enough protein. And you're probably overeating protein. Now, when you eat protein in excess, that ruins your metabolism and will increase your risk for diabetes, fatty liver, high cholesterol, and weight gain. But when you're losing weight, then you're losing muscle mass. So people on a diet for weight loss or need to rebuild tissue, they need to really count their daily protein intake. The rate at which you lose muscle mass depends on how fast you're losing your weight. Rapid weight equals rapid muscle loss. And there is no way to lose weight without losing some muscle. Now, when you lose weight, you are using up some muscle glycogen that's stored with water. And you can measure how much muscle you are losing in your calf muscle. Just get a tape and go around it and you can see it shrink. Now, the real weight that we should all keep to a low level is a weight inside our abdomen. That's the visceral fat that is trapped around our intestines. Now, I'm not in favor of diets that simply remove food, whether that's called prolonged fasting or GLP-1 agonists like Ozempic or Wegovy, for a number of reasons, including the fact that people lose muscle mass. If you don't eat the correct balance of protein, you will sacrifice not only your muscle building, but also your immune system, as protein is vital for your innate and adaptive immunity are dependent on antibody production for defense. Proteins serve many important other functional roles. They are the Uber drivers for molecules in your body that don't dissolve in blood, like fatty acids, medicines, and cholesterol. And by the way, have you ever checked your LDL cholesterol? LDL stands for low density lipoprotein and is a protein that carries the different types of fats, including cholesterol, that you see on your lipid panel. Another protein in your blood is called albumin, which binds to drugs like penicillin, the first antibiotic discovered that has saved hundreds of millions of lives. Unfortunately, we are losing our antibiotic tools due to drug-resistant bacteria, and you can avoid bringing home drug-resistant bacteria by not bringing home raw animal products. Now, without enough albumin, you won't have the ability to absorb iron. Proteins also serve as news reporters to your cells, which use proteins to communicate with one another, called cytokines, that regulate inflammation that is necessary for healing and repair. And some proteins, they are literally hormones like insulin that regulate your metabolism of both blood sugar and fat. Proteins are also the workhorses in your body as they make all the enzymes that build and break down tissue, buffer your blood's pH, and provide energy. Lastly, proteins also serve as a weaponry for your immune system, not just through cytokines, but they also make your antibodies to tag foreign invaders like bacteria, parasites, fungi, and viruses. It is recommended for the average adult to eat 0.8 grams per kilograms of protein per day of your lean body mass unless you are over 65, healing from surgery, pregnant, or lactating, and those folks need a bit more protein. Now, here is the RDA for pregnant and lactating women. Here are expert opinions for what I pulled for what may be a safer target for those with special needs. Now, without protein, the body won't grow, heal, or defend itself against infectious diseases like pneumonia, which remains a leading cause of death around the world. Pneumonia, unfortunately, can affect anyone at any age. Remember, most of America is eating protein in excess, and when you eat excess protein, that also taxes your kidneys, especially if you already have underlying kidney injury. Muscle recovery is super important, and that's why berries like blueberries, which is number 8, needs to be a part of the daily diet. My friend at church who ate that massive movie tub of popcorn decided to change his dietary habits by following my YouTube videos. In 8 weeks, he's been losing 1.5 pounds a week and feeling more energetic. He's so energetic that he stayed on his elliptical for 1.5 hours, and usually he only does it for about 20 minutes. However, he needed 2 days to recover from that exercise stunt. Now, this whole video is about movement and how it is so good for us. But everything in life, no matter how vital it is, even water, has a limit. When you move, you are purposely stressing your body to cause inflammation, which forces your body to adapt to stress. This is why athletes who spend more time practicing outperform those who don't, like the famous Kobe Bryant. The athletes who figured out how to recover faster get to spend more time training, and they have a competitive advantage. And that's probably why Kenyans keep on winning the Boston Marathon. The majority of Kenyans eat a starchy, whole-food, plant-based diet. It's not the starch that promotes recovery, but the phytonutrients and the fiber. The phytonutrients are called anthocyanins that are unique to many plants, including blueberries. They have been shown to reduce inflammation and increase recovery time. Now, I wouldn't have believed it either, except that they actually biopsied the muscle tissue of human athletes who ate the blueberries, and their biopsies showed that they had less inflammation, and clinically they recovered faster compared to those who didn't eat blueberries. It's not just polyphenols that are important to move. Movement, it just takes a lot of cellular energy, and it requires a mineral called magnesium, which is number 9. And unless you're eating seeds, beans, greens, and whole grains, then you are like half of America and eating an inadequate amount of magnesium daily. The biggest culprit is processed food, like refined flour, which removes 80 to 95% of the magnesium that was there in the original plant. It does this by removing the nutrient-rich parts, the germ and the bran of the grain. People don't eat refined flour alone, but it's oftentimes mixed with refined vegetable oil to bake cakes and breads and muffins. The original seed are packed with magnesium, but refined products made from seeds like seed oils are not. For example, safflower seeds contain 680 milligrams of magnesium for 6 tablespoons, which is about 1,000 calories. Now, if you actually ate or drank half a cup of safflower oil, you would also get 1,000 calories, but you would have 0 magnesium. We all need magnesium for the proper functioning of 300 enzymatic reactions in our bodies, found in your muscles, in your brain, your nervous system, and other tissue parts. Without magnesium, your nervous system can't transmit signals to your muscles, calcium can't be regulated, and you wouldn't be able to make energy in the form of ATP or use ATP or creatine to properly contract and relax your muscles. Now, obviously, this makes anyone more prone to injuries, delays recoveries, and prolongs cramps, increases the amount of cramps, as well as it prolongs soreness and fatigue. As a medical student, I suffered from my very first cramp attempting to practice soccer. I honestly didn't even get to play. My right thigh cramped as I was attempting to kick the ball. I never actually touched the ball. This occurred at the very beginning of practice, so I had to just hobble myself back home. It was so bad that I couldn't reach the bar of soap that fell at my foot in the shower that night. Now, that was not the only time I experienced muscle cramps. The day after my 24-hour hospital shifts as a medical student, I was more prone to getting leg cramps, and sometimes it would actually wake me up in the middle of the night because of excruciating pain. Now, if you've ever had a cramp, you know that trying to massage it doesn't really help. I just thought I was tired, but it turns out that the cycle continued until I started taking magnesium supplements. And the thing is, when you're low in magnesium, it doesn't just affect your muscles. 60% of your magnesium is actually stored in your bones. And when you are low in magnesium, your body draws from that storage, kind of like a savings account. And this is why blood magnesium is an inaccurate measure of your magnesium stores. So if you keep withdrawing from your magnesium savings account or from your bank account, and you're not replenishing those accounts, eventually you're going to go broke. There's no credit card for magnesium. Your bone is the only magnesium savings account, and every time you withdraw some and you don't replace it, you get closer to osteoporosis. So I actually lost a lot of years to build my bone through college, medical school, residency, and fellowship because I didn't pay attention to my dietary magnesium. The NIH recommends that all adults target at least 300 milligrams of magnesium daily. Men need more, and as we age or with exertion or any kind of physical stress, we actually require more magnesium. I try my best to fulfill optimum magnesium levels through whole food, but I honestly never want to feel those muscle cramps again. So I take a magnesium supplement daily for my own personal insurance. And if you want to know what I take, I have a link in the show notes below. Now, number 10 really should be number 1, as everything I just talked about is a moot point unless you get the right daily amount of hydration. 76% of your muscles are made out of water. Your joints, they also need water in order to move. Your bones may be hard, but almost a quarter of your bones is made out of water. Unfortunately, for water, there is no one size fits all. Most men need an average of 15.5 cups a day, and women need at least 11.5 cups a day, except when you're exerting yourself, when it's hotter outside, or if you're eating dry food, or let's say you're sweating more, you're breathing heavier. These are all ways you will lose water. The more active you are, the faster you will breathe and the faster you will lose water. Now, you can't really rely on your thirst, especially as you grow older or if you're eating a lot of processed food, because sodium actually inhibits your thirst mechanism. A good rule of thumb is to check your urine. Now, everyone should be urinating throughout the day, and if you aren't urinating enough or if your urine is too dark, you may not be able to drink enough water. Your first morning urine should be your darkest urine for the day. Now, if you're on medications that make you urinate, or if you have any compromised organs, then you really should ask your physicians how much you should target in a day. Go get yourself a measuring cup. Now, if you don't get your nutrition and hydration right, not only will it inhibit how well you're going to move, as well as contribute to how tired you feel, but it's actually going to affect your hair growth. Now, if you want to learn more about that, check out the next video.